After studying this module, you shall be able to know about the production function and its properties, explore the multi-input production function and the characteristics of isoquant, learn how to measure productivity and relative efficiency of the firms, evaluate the determinants of X efficiency. Determinants of X efficiency. Harvey Libenstein in the year 1966 came up with a theory known as X efficiency theory. X efficiency can be defined as the difference between the optimal efficient behavior of business in theory and in practice. This difference has been attributed to different factors. The main aspect of the theory is that the X efficiency serves as a major source of adding value to the output. Thus, an improvement in X efficiency results in increased output. Three elements which is centered to this theory are intra-plant motivational efficiency, external motivational efficiency and non-market input efficiency. In this theory, Libenstein places a special emphasis on motivation. According to him, managers and employees have all the capabilities and information to minimize the cost and increase the efficiency, which means that there is no scope for X inefficiency. But in the real practice, this is not so, as the costs are not minimized. Hence, firms are not efficient. This indicates that even though there is a possibility of reducing the inefficiency, it becomes difficult to achieve due to the lack of motivation. Apart from the motivation, the reasons cited by Libenstein in his paper includes incomplete contract for labor, all factors of production are not marketed, in case when the production function is not known or not specified, competing firms tend to cooperate with each other in some respect and at the same time imitate each other's techniques to some extent due to interdependency and uncertainty. Ever since X efficiency theory was introduced, numerous empirical studies have been carried out to validate the theory and determine the factors influencing the efficiency. Studies have identified foreign ownership as one of the major factors having positive and significant impact on inefficiency. The probable reasons cited for such behavior includes the lack of supervision and motivation as owners are far away. This could also be explained by the agency problem as owners and managers differ in their views on achieving efficiency. Managers may be more interested in maximizing their own benefits rather than adding value to the firm. This can be addressed using a good and effective corporate governance as it adequately deals with agency problem. Findings of the studies support the view of the X efficiency theory that motivation of the managers, irrespective of the level of the managers, play a crucial role in X efficiency of the firms. Investigations of X efficiency in bank sector of America revealed that there is a significant decline in the X efficiency up to 2 to 4 years after the mergers. This further supports the X efficiency theory that lack of competition in the market leads to increase in X inefficiency. Evidences have shown that if there is competition in place of monopoly, it leads to positive change in efficiency. Difference in the output has been observed for the same amount of input in different countries. This difference may be due to the difference in nature and approach of the managers, differences in the environment, and due to the differences in the incentives.
Firm's primary activity is production of goods and services.
the capital and the labor employed for the production of goods and services by the firm, efficiency of the firm, and the cost of production depends mainly on the technology used by the firm. It is therefore essential to have an understanding of the formal relationship between these factors, which is provided by the production function. Firm's performance is measured by its productivity and efficiency. The rest of the section of this module deals with the production function, its properties and isoquant methods for measuring productivity and relative efficiency, and finally explores the determinants of X efficiency. Production function. Production may be defined as a process of transforming the set of inputs into output desired either by the consumers or the industry, which then uses it to produce other products. For example, petroleum refineries use crude oil as input to produce an array of useful petroleum products. Production function provides the formal and most precise relationship between these input and the desired output. It identifies the available technical possibilities for a given state of technological knowledge. This gives the firm opportunity to make a choice of the most efficient combination of factors as per its requirement. To understand the concept of production function, we begin with a single input production function and then shift our focus to multiple inputs. If we consider a firm that uses n number of inputs, such as raw material, labor, machinery, to produce a single output, the following production function can be used to express the technological possibility available to the firm. Q is equals to F bracket X bracket close. This is given as equation 1, where Q is the output and X is equals to X1, X2, 2, Xn, which is a vector of n x1 vector of inputs. Properties of production function. There are several specific properties associated with the production function. The most important properties accompanying a production function, as given by Chambers 1988, Coeli 2002, are as follows. First, non-negativity. Fx will have a value which is finite, non-negative, and real number. Second, Week's essentiality. At least one input is required for the production of positive output, without which it will be impossible to have any output. Third, monotonicity or non-decreasing in x. Additional unit of x will not result in the decrease of output, that is, if x to the power 0 is greater than equals to x to the power 1, then fx to the power 0 is greater than equals to fx to the power 1. All marginal products are non-negative if the production functions are continuously differentiable. Fourth, concave in x. Linear combination of the input vector x to the power 0 and x to the power 1 will produce an output which is greater than or equal to the linear combination of fx to the power 0 and fx to the power 1. All marginal products are non-increasing if the production function are continuously differentiable, that is, the law of diminishing marginal productivity. These properties, however, not universal and may be violated in some cases. One of the simplest way to understand the production function and the associated properties is by considering a single input production function as given in figure 1. From the figure, it can be deduced that first, all the values of Q are non-negative and finite real number for given x on the horizontal axis. This satisfies the non-negativity property. Second, the property of weak essentiality is fulfilled as all the function passes through the origin. Third, at all the point between origin and g, the marginal product of x is positive, which satisfies the monotonicity property. However, on the curved segment GR, as the marginal product of x is negative, it violates monotonicity. Fourth, the concavity is violated through the section from origin till D, as the marginal product of x increases along this region. However, it is satisfied at all the points along the curve GR. In the region OD, concavity is violated, and in the region GR, monotonicity is violated. DG is the only segment of the curve where all the major properties are fulfilled. Therefore, the segment between D and G is referred to as the economically feasible region for production. Within this segment, point E is referred to as point of optimal scale, as this is the point where the average product is maximized. In case of the single input production function, average product at a point is the slope of the line that passes through the origin and the particular point. Production function, multiple inputs. Suppose we have a firm that produces single homogeneous product Q with three inputs or factor of production, that is labor L, capital K, and entrepreneurship E. Then the production function would be given as Q is equals to F bracket K comma L comma E bracket close, where F is the form of production function which may take several mathematical forms, simplest of which includes the additive or multiplicative form. The function is described as additive function if it takes the following form. Q is equals to AK plus BL plus CE. If we assume that A is equals to 3, B is equals to 2, and C is equals to 1.5, we can calculate the quantity of Q for any given quantity of the factors K, L, and E. Here, if the quantity of each of the factors is doubled, then the output also doubles. This is referred to as the state of constant returns to scale. Further, the function is described as multiplicative function if it takes the following form. Q is equals to A into K to the power B into L to the power C into E to the power D. If the values of the powers B, C, and D and the constant term A are specified, then the total output Q can be calculated for any given quantity of the factors K, L, and E. Multiplicative production function results in three possible situations. First, constant returns to scale. B plus C plus D is equals to 1. Now, when the sum of the powers B plus C plus D adds up to 1, doubling of the factors would result in doubling of the output. Ratio of Q2 to Q1 is equals to 2. Second, increasing returns to scale. That is, B plus C plus D is greater than 1. Now, when the sum of the powers B plus C plus D adds up to more than 1, doubling of the factors would result in output more than double. Ratio of Q2 to Q1 is greater than 2. Third, decreasing returns to scale. That is, B plus C plus D is less than 1. Now, when the sum of the powers B plus C plus D adds up to less than 1, doubling of the factors would result in the output less than the double. Ratio of Q2 to Q1 is less than 2. Isoquant analysis. In case there are more than two inputs, the best way to represent the production function is to plot the relationship between two of the variables, holding all other variables constant. Isoquant analysis is used to diagrammatically represent such production function. It represents how a given level of output can be achieved using different combination of the two factors or inputs. Figure 2 shows the output isoquant. Each level of output is represented by separate isoquant. If we consider that there are two factors of production, namely capital K and labor L, then from figure 2, Q1, Q2 and Q3 are the isoquant of three level of output. As we move along the line OT, output increases in the order OT is greater than OS is greater than OR. Each of the isoquant reflects the diminishing effectiveness of the substituting one factor with other in production process. In addition, it also represents the combinations of other factors with which each level of output can be produced. For example, on isoquant Q2 at point A, combination of capital OKA and labor OLA produces the output Q2, whereas at point B, output Q2 is produced by combination of capital OKB and labor OLB. Labor to capital ratio is higher at point B than point A, while at point A, capital to labor ratio is greater than point B. Thus, production at point A is considered to be more capital intensive and production at B is considered as more labor intensive. Shape of the isoquant depends on the level of technical knowledge and extent or the degree of substitution between input factors. The degree of substitution is measured as the slope of the isoquant obtained by dividing the change in the factor K by the change in factor L. Thus, it can be said that reduction in capital by 1 unit will require more labor to achieve the same output, or employing 1 unit of the labor would reduce capital by a number of units. This relationship between labor and capital is termed marginal rate of technical substitution, which is popularly known as MRTS. At any point on the isoquant, MRTS is defined as the change in the capital divided by the change in the labor, that is, change in K by change in L. Slopes of the line tangential to the isoquant at any point gives the MRTS. As we move along the isoquant, reduction in use of capital results in the reduction in output. In order to be on the same isoquant, the loss of output is compensated by increasing the number of labor employed. This implies that the reduction in capital multiplied by the marginal product of capital, that is change in K into MPK, is compensated by the product of increase in labor and marginal product of labor, that is change in L into MPL. Change in Q is equals to minus change in K into MPK plus change in L into MPL is equals to 0. On transposing, we get minus change in K upon plus change in L is equals to MPK by MPL. This gives us the slope of the isoquant, implying that the MRTS of capital and labor is equal to the ratio of the marginal product of labor and marginal product of capital. Measuring the productivity. Measuring productivity is very crucial as it is one of the major performance indicators of firms and industry as a whole. While slope of the isoquant measures the relatively productivity, the absolute productivity is provided by the indicator, labor productivity, capital productivity, and other total productivity. Both labor and capital productivity relate output to the single seller, only neglecting the contribution by the other factors. The total productivity, however, Relate the output of the combination of the both inputs. Figure 3 presents the measurement for each of the three indicators. If the firm initially is on the best practice isoquant producing an output Q1 in the time period T and has decided to be on point G with utilization of OKG unit of capital and OLG unit of labor, then following measures of productivity at the point G can be explained. Labor productivity. Output Q1 divided by the number of labor employed, that is OLG. Capital productivity. Output Q1 divided by the amount of capital utilized, OKG. Total factor productivity, that is output Q1 divided by both number of labor employed and the amount of capital utilized, that is sum of OLG and OKG. On each point on the isoquant, different result is achieved for the single factor measured of productivity. For instance, labor productivity at point F is greater than G and at G it is greater than H on the isoquant QT, while it is just opposite for the capital productivity as it is greater at H than G and at G it is greater than F. However, these problems are avoided in case of total factor productivity as the output is divided by the total amount of factors used. The only issue is of using the appropriate method for adding the labor and capital, particularly when they are measured in different units and each unit are of varying quality. In case the firm undergoes a technical progress such that it moves to an isoquant Qt plus 1, it produces the same output Qt. The total factor productivity at each point of the isoquant Qt plus 1 will be superior to the isoquant Qt as the total factors used in the former are fewer than in later. If the firm moves from G to any point between B and D on the new isoquant, single factor productivity would provide an unambiguous indicator of improved performance. Point B represents increase in the labor productivity with unchanged capital productivity, whereas point D represents the increase in capital productivity with an unchanged labor productivity. Only at point C, lying in between B and D, both labor and capital productivity have increased. As we move from G to A, representing a more capital intensive production, the capital productivity decreases and labor productivity increases. Moving from G to E, representing a more labor intensive production, the labor productivity decreases and capital productivity increases. Thus, single factor measures of productivity have to be used with greater conscience. If only the capital is fixed or fully utilized, the measure of the labor productivity at two different time periods and any improvement in the performance can be attributed to the efforts of labor. In case the capital utilization also increases simultaneously, contribution of capital in the improved labor productivity gets confirmed. Relative measure of efficiency. Measure of relative efficiency proposed by Farrell in 1957 is another approach to measure the relative performance of the firm as compared to the current best practice frontier isoquant. An isoquant representing the minimum quantity input required for a given output is termed as the best practice isoquant. Firms that produce on the best practice isoquant are considered as technically efficient, whereas they are considered to be economically or allocatively efficient if they choose a point on the isoquant such that the MRTS between the two factors and the ratio of the factor prices are equal. The best practice isoquant can be derived in the following three ways. First, one can derive the best practice isoquant based on the knowledge about the industry, technical features, and the latest technology being used in the industry. It can also be achieved statistically using the data of the existing firms. Second, the best practice isoquant can be obtained by plotting the labor and capital required per unit of output of the existing plants. The innermost points available from the plot, when joined, give the best practice isoquant passing through the point A, B, C, D, and E as given in figure 4. Data envelopment analysis, known as DEA, which uses linear programming techniques, can also be used to achieve the best practice isoquant. Third, if we have a best practice isoquant for the industry, QBD, as given in figure 5, and one of the firm is at point A away from the frontier and the remaining two firms at point B and D on the best practice isoquant. According to Farrell, 1957, the relative performance of the firm at point A can be measured using the following method. A straight line joining the origin O with A determines the capital labor ratio prevailing at A. OA cuts the best practice isoquant at point B so that both the firm A and B have the same labor capital ratio. However, firm is more capital intensive and firm B is more labor intensive. Thus, firm B is technically efficient than firm A. Efficiency of the firm can be compared on the basis of the quantity of factors used at A and B. The measure of the relative technical efficiency of firm A is given by ratio of OB to OA. The ratio is 0.80 would mean that firm A is using 20% more inputs than firm B to produce the same output. If the ratio is closer to 1, efficiency of firm A is closer to firm B. Inefficiency may also arise in case the firm is economically inefficient. Here, firm at point D is both technically and economically efficient when the ISO cost curve PR represent the relative prices of the capital and labor. Firm D is economically efficient or it minimizes the cost of production, whereas firm A and B are not economically efficient as they incur more cost on the production than the efficient firm D. The magnitude of the cost inefficiency incurred by firm A is determined as a ratio of OC to OB. Both the firm A and B are at higher ISO cost ST and UV respectively and are therefore higher cost producer than D. Even when the firm A wants to be technically efficient by moving to B, it would still be cost inefficient due to non-usage of optimal labor capital ratio. Combination of technical and cost efficiency can be used as a single measure of economic inefficiency. For the firm A, it can be measured as follows. Technical efficiency is equals to OB by OA. Cost efficiency is equals to OC by OB. Economic efficiency is finally achieved as the product of the two measures and is given by OC by OA. Thus, it can be concluded that to reach the efficiency frontier, firm A could use its existing resources more efficiently or should make an effort to derive maximum output from the given resources available to it, should make an effort to reduce the unit of labor and capital utilized for the production of given output, improve skills of labor by organizing the training programs for them, make investment in new capital, utilize latest technology, and allow the use of optimal capital output ratio. Summary. Production is defined as a process of transforming the set of inputs into desired output. Desired, the formal and most precise relationship between these inputs and the desired output is provided by a production function. Production function enables the firms to make a choice of the most efficient combination of factors as per their requirement. In case of multiple input, production function takes an additive or multiplicative form. In case of multiplicative function, sum of the powers is 1 represents constant returns to scale, greater than 1 represents the increasing returns to scale, and less than 1 represents the decreasing returns to scale. Slope of the isoquant measures the relative productivity. The absolute productivity is provided by the indicators, that is labor productivity, capital productivity and total factor productivity. Relative efficiency proposed by Farrell in 1957 measures the relative performance of the firm as compared to the current best practice frontier isoquant. X efficiency, defined as the difference between the optimal efficient behavior of business in theory and in practice. X efficiency influenced by foreign ownership, motivation, mergers, competitions, approaches of the managers, difference in environment and difference in incentives.